Big news we are getting at this moment is that senior BJP leader LK Advani has resigned from all party positions. Advani, remember, who is believed to have been sulking over Modi's elevation, did not even attend the party's conclave in Goa, where just yesterday the decision on Narendra Modi's elevation was announced by party President Rajnath Singh. In fact, just about an hour ago, Party President Rajnath Singh had paid a visit to Advani at his residence here in the capital. And interestingly, even yesterday, after that announcement on Modi was made, Narendra Modi had tweeted saying he had spoken to LK Advani and actually got his blessings. But the news that we are getting at this moment is that LK Advani, senior leader of the BJP, has quit all party posts. This, in a sense, confirms what has already been talked and speculated about in the political circles for several days now. LK Advani being utterly unhappy with the party's decision on elevating Narendra Modi and anointing him chairman of the party's poll panel. This decision was announced by the party just yesterday at its Goa conclave, and there had been a lot of talk about why Advani had chosen to stay away from that conclave. In fact, most political observers saying that this was really the first major meeting of the party in its entire history, perhaps, that LK Advani had stayed away from. Remember, he's not just a senior leader, he's somebody who's looked upon as the patriarch of the party. You also had Arun Jaitley telling NDTV yesterday that people like him and Narendra Modi learnt their first political lessons from LK Advani. But clearly, Advani had been very unhappy over the last few days over the party's decision to elevate Narendra Modi. In fact, till just 24 hours ago, there was a lot of speculation and suspense really over whether that decision to elevate Narendra Modi was even going to be made and announced at the Goa conclave, given LK Advani's unhappiness with the entire issue. In fact, even though LK Advani had cited health reasons for not attending this meet, just yesterday evening via video conferencing, he even addressed the party cadres, apologized to them for not attending the conclave, saying that he was unwell. But that is a claim that very, very few people had bought, and now what has been speculated on all along seems to have only been confirmed, with LK Advani quitting all party posts. For the very latest on that, let's now go across to NDTV's group editor, Barkha Dutt. Barkha, we've known all along how unhappy Advani was with Modi's elevation, but does this decision come as a surprise?
Neha, if you look at it, it doesn't really come as a surprise to me, because look at what has happened. When Narendra Modi was speaking, you had LK Advani's poster right behind him, and if anything captured the irony of the moment, that was it, because Advani had chosen to stay away after his proposal that Narendra Modi could be given a place on the campaign committee, but he should not be made as chairman, was not just not accepted, but he was virtually snubbed, even by those considered loyal to him. People like Yashwant Sinha, people like Uma Bharti, who had stayed away from the Goa meet, but then quickly fell in line and hastily clarified to the media that they were not against Narendra Modi. Now, Advani was virtually silent for the last 3 days. When we did hear him speak, addressing a conference via a video link, although Narendra Modi had claimed that he had Advani's blessings, Advani did not even mention Modi by name. For somebody who virtually, in a sense, not just is the veteran leader of the party, but also is seen to be responsible for giving the BJP its first win, for taking it from 2 seats in parliament in 1984, 85 seats in the next election. For somebody who has been described even yesterday when he stayed away by all the BJP leaders as their senior most leader and their mentor, this is a very, very significant development. But the BJP, it could be said that the BJP left Advani with no option. His option was, in a sense, to accept the humiliation. Many people thought that when he wrote a blog talking about Bhishma Pitama, then when you look at the mythology of that story, Bhishma Pitama was eventually laid to rest on a bed of arrows. But Bhishma Pitama also remained loyal to Hastinapur though he did not agree with the decisions that were taken. So to that extent, the BJP interpretation was that for somebody who has been an RSS pracharak, who has described BJP to be like his family, that he would never actually leave the ranks. Now news coming in that he has quit all party posts. He has resigned from the national executive as well as the election committee. What we are still trying to verify is what happens now to the fact that he is NDA chairman as well, and he is also member of the parliamentary board. This is something that we are still trying to clarify, but at the moment, what we do know is that he has resigned from the national executive of the BJP as well as from the election committee, the election committee that is now headed, by the way, by Narendra Modi.
Right, Barkha, it's interesting you mentioned the blog that he wrote yesterday, reflecting his very pensive thoughts, even referring to Bhishma Pitama. Now, you put some of those questions to Arun Jaitley, that interview you did yesterday evening. You asked him whether this was a humiliation and complete sidelining of the party patriarch. Arun Jaitley totally dismissing that criticism, saying, well, Advani was a mentor to many like him and Modi in the party, and they continue to enjoy his blessings. What are you hearing from your sources in the BJP at this moment, Barkha? Has this decision by Advani caught them completely unawares?
But there's complete confusion right now in the BJP ranks because the news has just come in the last few minutes. In fact, some of the BJP leaders I was talking to in the last 5 minutes were not even aware of it. This is a direct message to people sent by LK Advani. But now there's confirmation coming in that he has also resigned from parliamentary board, from the BJP parliamentary board, the national executive and the election committee. So that is all party posts. What remains unclear is what happens to his position as NDA chairman. And why is this relevant? It's relevant because do remember that some of the allies yesterday, particularly the Janata Dal United, they were making the point that although Narendra Modi had been appointed as the chairman of the parliamentary of the election committee panel of the BJP, he was not yet NDA chairman. This is a post that is still enjoyed by and held by LK Advani. Will he remain NDA chairman? That will be a very interesting twist in the tail if he is to remain NDA chairman, because then he is still making the point somewhere that the allies may still look to him as somebody to guide them. So that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at the moment, Neha, that if he remains NDA chairman but he leaves all party positions, that puts the BJP in a very awkward position.
In fact, Barkha, what we do know at this point is that LK Advani has resigned from the BJP parliamentary board, the election committee and the national executive. He has tendered his resignation to the party president. And interestingly, Barkha, barely an hour ago, Rajnath Singh actually paid LK Advani a visit at his Delhi residence as if to send out the message that all was well within the party. Just yesterday, you had Narendra Modi, soon after his coronation, claiming on Twitter that he had spoken to Advani and had his blessings. Arun Jaitley telling you late last evening in that interview that all was well, but clearly things seem to be going horribly wrong within the BJP at this time.
Well, Neha, it is my feeling that the BJP virtually left LK Advani with only two options. One, that he would just quietly accept the fact that his proposal had not been accepted, that the BJP had gone ahead. The BJP had gone ahead and taken a decision despite Advani protesting, despite Advani expressing his reservations. Advani was also left isolated in the party because many leaders seem to be close to LK Advani. Let's look at the other leaders who actually stayed away from this Goa meet, whether it was Yashwant Sinha, it was Jaswant Singh, Uma Bharti. Some say even Sushma Swaraj is somebody who has been seen as an LK Advani protege. These are leaders perhaps Advani hoped would express much more public disagreement over the anointment of Narendra Modi, but perhaps none of them felt that they could do that. Perhaps all of them felt that a time had come for a generational shift within the party. So this is Neha, now a very peculiar situation for the BJP, because having taken the risk of going ahead, snubbing LK Advani and going ahead with this decision, they had to have known that LK Advani too would have had to do something in kind and something in response, and would not just accept that humiliation. However, if LK Advani continues as NDA chairman, I think that raises all sorts of interesting questions because at the moment, a lot now depends on what the allies will say. Will the allies weigh in behind Narendra Modi or the decision to appoint him as the chairman of that election committee, which most of the allies have described as an internal decision? And will they continue to accept Advani as the NDA chairman? This is a very interesting question if Advani actually continues as NDA chairman.
That's a significant point you're making there, Barkha. What view will the allies take of this development? And is Advani also going to quit as NDA chairman? You had Nitish Kumar, a crucial ally of the BJP, addressing a press conference an hour ago. And while he refused to take any direct questions on Modi's elevation, he did say the JDU was going to meet soon and evolve a stand on this issue. And we all know, Barkha, what Nitish Kumar feels, how he feels about Narendra Modi. He's said in the past that only a leader with secular credentials can lead the NDA, and even though Modi has not been anointed officially the prime ministerial candidate by the BJP, yesterday's development is significant, and now with LK Advani stepping aside in the manner that he has, it could have a huge impact on BJP's ties with its allies.
Neha, my reading of the Janata Dal United and the BJP equation is as follows. I think the BJP circumvented Nitish Kumar's party's opposition to Narendra Modi by not declaring Modi a prime ministerial candidate, but instead actually taking this very smart decision to actually appoint him to the head of a poll panel. No ally can object to that because it's an internal party decision. That's pretty much the position that Dinesh Thakur, leader with the Janata Dal United, Nitish Kumar's party, even took on our show last night. He said this is an internal decision, and please remember, it is not the same thing as being NDA chairman. Now, this becomes very significant if LK Advani actually continues as NDA chairman. What will parties like the JDU say? So this is a very interesting situation at this moment. We're trying to find out if LK Advani continues as NDA chairman, but we can confirm to you that he has resigned. He has resigned as from the parliamentary board, from the national executive, and from the election committee. And this after the BJP snubbed him, went ahead with the decision to appoint Narendra Modi. LK Advani snubbed, and a lonely figure at the end of his innings. Someone who had refused to rule himself out as Prime Minister, rather as a Prime Ministerial candidate, as recently as 2 years ago when I was interviewing him in 2011, the RSS had put great pressure on him to actually publicly declare that he was not interested in the post of Prime Minister, and he said, "Well, I'm not declaring myself in, I will not declare myself out either." So LK Advani has had a very, I would say, a roller coaster relationship with the Sangh Parivar, with the RSS, initially as with his Rath Yatras and his Ram Janmabhoomi movement, somebody directly associated with the surge in the BJP's fortunes around the Ayodhya movement, then somebody who sought to reinvent himself beyond Ayodhya, somebody who was forced to step down by the RSS's party president after he praised Muhammad Ali Jinnah on his trip to Pakistan, and who has run into friction with the RSS because in the past the RSS has wanted him to publicly declare that he is not in the running for Prime Minister. He does not see himself as the Prime Ministerial candidate, and he said in an interview to NDTV that he would refuse to do that. So he's always to that extent been his own man, and he's continuing to do that right now, even if he cuts a lonely figure at the end of his political innings.